Hello and welcome to a brand new and, dare I say, wild and weird and wacky, and I don't know what news breaks all the time. And if you're following anything on Husker social media, you know the news that broke within the last hour is another Husker enters the transfer portal. We're going to talk about that. But welcome to a brand new Five Heart podcast live on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, X. I'm your host, Greg Mahachka, my co-host, my co-pilot, my good friend, Minnie Hunt. Minnie, good evening. How are you doing tonight? It has been a hell of a week in Husker Nation.
Yeah, it's insane. I can barely keep up with everything. I'm like, okay, who's staying? Who's leaving? Who's staying? Who's leaving? And then who's signing? We've had everything happen this week in 4 days.
The only thing we haven't had occur, damn it, is a win on the football field. Nebraska went to Kinnick Stadium, went to Iowa City last Friday night, Black Friday, 6:30 kickoff, and lather, rinse, repeat from last year. Iowa wins in walk-off fashion, 13-10, and I don't know how much time you want to spend on this, Minnie. I know the Holger maniacs, brother. They are already in transfer portal offseason mode. Lots to cover tonight. We'll talk a little bit about that Iowa game. The coaching changes, the players who are jumping in the transfer portal. Yesterday was the early signing day, and of course, we still have a bowl game to get ready for, and volleyball, the NCAA volleyball tournament tomorrow night. So lots going on. Minnie,
Hey, Greg, you mentioned a word, and you can't mention this word without me doing this. You ready?
Okay. Oh, the music stopped. Sorry.
Holger maniacs.
Well, you know something, Mean Gene.
What?
That's usually about the only thing that anybody ever remembers. Marianne Roberts is here tonight. Says, "Hi guys, it's beer 30." Marianne, you're absolutely right. It is beer 30.
Aw, that's a Christmas beer.
This is a Schlafly. Schlafly is again a St. Louis brewery. This is their, honest to gosh, this is their Christmas ale. It is an ale with spices. Let's run it down, shall we? A special release. Christmas ale is available for a limited time with a new style every few months. Schlafly Christmas Ale is a warming winter ale that blends the spices of the season with sweet caramel malt. It's 8% alcohol by volume, Minnie. You're lucky that there's only one of these bad boys that's cold tonight.
So. Check that out. You just got a thumbs up for that. Well, it is a mango night tonight, actually.
And Pitt says Minnie's got the good shit too. So I'm assuming that's the White Claw. So, again, lots to cover tonight. When we talk about signing day, and we're gonna move around, but last week we were talking, joking, somewhat serious about the measurables, right? Like the things that you can, on paper, what's supposed to look good as far as bringing recruits. We talk about hand size. I think Dylan what it said. Dylan was like 9.5 inch hands.
That was Sunday night. That was Sunday night.
Sorry, I forget things.
Yeah.
And somewhere in here, let me go all the way up to the top. Somebody made it question. Here we go. Fred Sacco says, saw a starting wide receiver from Kentucky enter the portal. What?
How come we have breaking news in the notes? Have you even looked at it?
I honestly have not. I'm sorry. But
okay.
Fred asked if anyone knows his knee circumference asking for a friend.
Wonder
I'll
why.
start it. I'll keep that around because you just never know. Honestly, you don't. You never know what measurables they're looking
important.
for, right?
Right. I think it's different for. Oh, what's this? Hello,
Minnie?
Greg. What's going on?
I don't know.
Okay.
Guys?
What the hell? What did I get? What's going on here? Oh, what the hell? Hey, Pitt. What are you doing here? Yo. Aaron. Oh, holy Todd, I'm not sure. It's Christmas time. I'm not too holy. Hey, Fred. Big wrestling this weekend. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Nebraska and Coronation fans of all ages, what an honor and a treat that we have for you tonight. The
Santa
man,
Claus.
the myth,
Yeah.
the Todd.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
Oh,
Boy, with everything that's going on, I figured maybe you need a hand.
sounds good, brother. Welcome back
Well,
to
thanks.
the Five Heart Podcast.
Thank you.
Yay.
Great seeing.
Feels
What
good.
is this your winter coat?
That'd be my I tell you what, I've gone before just kind of maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I decided what the hell. As white as it is, I've got a 2-year-old and an infant grandkid, so I'll be Santa Claus this Christmas. We'll see how that.
That. Oh.
Give it a
It's-
whirl.
How's your ho ho ho?
Ho ho ho! Yeah, got to be deeper, don't I? Ho ho ho!
You got to get. We'll get you into character.
There you go. I need some help.
On a very special Five Heart Theater.
Mhm.
Well, Pitt says the grandkids are going to love the beard. Todd, respect, Grandpa.
Yeah. Hopefully they do.
I am honestly, in Nebraska, Rascal says it looks like Todd survived the USC trip.
Yeah, Todd had a hell of a good time out in California. I really did. Outside of the outcome of the game, and even the game was really fun to watch. I mean, it was a nice afternoon in that big old stadium, and so that was a good time. But yeah, I made it back. Now it's cold as hell back in Nebraska. I want to go back to California.
Oh, I know.
Well, before the little invasion angle, before the little takeover happened, hope you all enjoyed that. I'm not a good actor, so it might have been the best or worst episode of Five Heart Theater ever.
You got to consider the material you're working with here.
I wanted to brain started working at Todd as soon as you reached out and said you wanted to come on the show. I was like, we can't just be like, hey everybody, it's Greg, Minnie, Five Heart Podcast, and Todd. We had like, no, Todd needs an introduction, damn it.
Oh, you flatter me.
So So one of the it wasn't as crisp as I would like it. I'm a bit of a production perfectionist, but so happy to
Really?
Yeah, shut up. So Pitt says, so Five Heart Theater is over. Everybody in the Holger Maniacs, brother, are happy to see you, Todd. So welcome back. But before, we were talking about, hey, look, I may have just embellished jumping around a little bit. We need to talk about that Iowa game at least a little bit, because I feel like we all have thoughts. Now, I was able to get a lot of my thoughts out on the coordination overreaction with the Haas and Jake, and I encourage everybody to go back to the YouTube archives, find that one from Sunday night. But Minnie, I know you were able to join John on Monday Night Therapy, and Todd, I really want your take on what transpired there. Well, and for the sake of the comments, let's just keep it from the opening kickoff to the final whistle. Let's just keep it in the mindset of the game. We can talk about the off the field or rather before the game stuff later. But what's your take on that game, Todd?
Well, I guess when I think back on it, I'm glad I wasn't there. It was so damn cold, and I knew quite a few people that were. But I think I was kind of involved in the chat on coordination, the thread, and somebody posted in there around the second quarter that they'd feel a lot more comfortable if there was a 17-point lead. And that kind of struck me at the time, because I've been watching these two teams go after each other for quite a few years. And I can't remember a game when at some point Iowa didn't break off a big play. And I just had a sense that it was going to happen. And more often than not, it's been that running play where they finally collapse, the outside, and the running back bounces to the outside edge. Somebody misses a tackle, and then it's off to the races. And we've seen that time and time again. And while it wasn't a running play, it was a little, flare pass to Caleb Johnson. It had the same effect. And so I was concerned that something like that was going to happen in the second half, because it always does.
Yeah.
And I was also concerned about a big play that Iowa would make, on defense or with special teams, because it always happens. And when I say that, it isn't necessarily, we've seen it with games against Nebraska, but Iowa does that to other teams too. Their mode of operation is just play steady, don't make mistakes, wait for the big play, and let the other team shoot themselves in the foot. And ultimately it happens. All of that said, when the ball game was tied 13-13, I really thought Nebraska had a chance. I hadn't given up. I wasn't sitting here thinking, oh, here we go again. Here we go. I didn't do that at any point during the game, even though, we've seen kind of this pattern before. But I truly thought that Dylan was going to be able to get the team within field goal range. And I thought if they can get a straight, if they weren't too far to the hash mark, I thought that Hull could perhaps nail a field goal to win the game. And I'm going to point fingers here. I am so glad I don't have to watch another game. Well, I guess we got one more. We got the bowl game. But I am so glad I don't have to watch another game with that right tackle who has disappointed for years. And, Coach Rule says he's going to be an NFL player. He said that at the beginning of the year. And maybe he will. But doggone it, the team was in a position, the most experienced offensive lineman whiffs on a block. There should have been no way that happened that way. People can say all they want to about the fumble. You know what? The fumble happened. And I don't know that he lost control of it. In hindsight's 2020, when you look at the replays, I'm not sure he did.
Me
But the
either.
bottom line is that one of the most experienced players on the field, when we needed that effort the most, he made a mistake. And there it goes.
I want to highlight this one from Mr. James Boardman, who, by the way, had the honor and privilege of meeting at Kincaiders back in September as well.
Yeah.
He was out there. Boardman he's got that eidetic memory like Haas. Benhart ended his career the way he started it, giving up the edge. And it was, look, the most tenured, more starts, I think, than any other Husker ever. And you need to have better, I don't know the likelihood. I mean, he could be an NFL guy, but he could also be a practice squad NFL guy. Is he going to be a starting right tackle anywhere? I don't know.
I don't know.
Think of the worst. Well, let's see. Think of the worst offensive team, or maybe just the worst team. I mean, the thing is, guys retire. Linemen retire all the time from the NFL. And younger guys are coming up. Is he always atrocious? No. Does he have glimpses of brilliance? I think so.
Yep.
Can the right coach at the next level get him, get squeezed the most out of him? Sure. Is Matt Rule necessarily wrong? I don't think he's necessarily wrong, Todd. And I'm definitely not here to argue with you. I see both points, but there needs to be more consistent play from the right tackle. Certainly.
I'm looking at the PFF grades for the Iowa game, and Bryce Benhart got 62.7 for that game, which isn't bad. It's not great, but it's not bad.
No, but it was that last play, and I get it, and it doesn't come down to one play. It doesn't. We get that.
Mm-hmm.
And what we saw happen is what Iowa is noted for. That defense tackles as good as any defense I've seen in college football. They pursue. It's hard to break off. Emmett Johnson had a hell of a game. And it really surprised me how many times he was able to make a move and pick up a few extra yards, because usually that doesn't happen against Iowa's defenders. But it frustrated me because, once again, we got beat by Iowa, and there's, I'm that guy. I lived in Iowa for 58 years, and I've had to put up with those damn Hawkeye fans for all of that time. And I just, it's really an emotional game for me every year. And I've been there quite a few times to watch games, both Nebraska and other teams. I shared with some friends 10 years ago. I was there. We were shoveling snow off of our seats and away from where our feet were going to be in the stadium. We were shoveling snow out of there. My kids gave up at halftime and walked to the car to warm up. It was me and my dad that stayed, and then it went overtime, and Nebraska got the win in OT. And so, I've had those kind of moments in that stadium, but this was a hard one. This was a hard one to take because I truly thought that Nebraska was going to win this game. I really did. I was very confident, and then I was confident up until the very end.
Yeah. Till about the fourth quarter. That's where it started to just kind of look like we weren't going to come away with that one.
Yep.
It's just really surprising how they shut us down in the second half from scoring.
They do that. They got, in my opinion, the best defensive coordinator in college football. And they play incredible defense with players that they develop. They're not recruiting, rooms full of 5 stars and 4 stars. But Phil Parker, he knows how to put a defense out on the field. And, it doesn't matter now. Phil Parker's not leaving, but it amazes me that he has stayed at Iowa all those years. And, here we're in a state of transition in Nebraska with our coaching staff, and look across the river, and how long has that coaching staff been there? Now, they did get a new offensive coordinator, but it is incredible how long those guys have stuck together over there. And that consistency contributes to the level of success they have. And, we can sit here. There's a lot of Nebraska fans that say, we don't want to be Iowa. I mean, Sean Eichhorst, we don't want to be Iowa. We're not going to settle for mediocrity. Well, after sitting here the last 7 years, hoping that we could get, to a bowl game, 8 wins, 9 wins a season doesn't look too bad.
Right.
Now, I'd be bored to death watching that team play every game, but boy, wouldn't it be nice to have 8 or 9 wins?
And I think, we talk about that quite a bit on Sunday on the overreaction, again, myself, Hoss, and Jake. And yeah, right now, and somebody have said this in the chat. I'm not going to scroll up to find it. It's not that important. I'd like to give credit. I think, but they said Nebraska was the better team, but Iowa was the better program. Iowa definitely has the benefit of stability. Are they the better program? I'll say this. Nebraska has better athletes. I think Nebraska has a higher ceiling, but Iowa has the higher floor. You kind of always know.
That lower floor, you mean?
No, they have the higher floor. Like their minimum, I think right now is higher than Nebraska's. I mean, clearly they were 7-5, we're 6-6, So
yeah.
So, but I think with Nebraska, we're just so inconsistent that we could be 4-8, but we could be 10-2.
Do we have to talk about this right now?
No. I mean, this is a Nebraska show, and if we're not going to,
I know. It just hurts. I don't know if this is going to be what it looks like going forward. I mean,
I don't know, but that's the nicest thing I'll ever say about Iowa is that they have a higher floor than we do.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. So, the thing about this weekend, I mean, Greg, I know you wanted to talk about the game, but the thing about this past weekend really was like people that don't watch football know about this. All the rivalry stuff. I was just talking to a bunch of women who are like, yeah, I heard about that. What happened? So it's kind of cool. I mean, not in a good way that it happened that way, but it's neat that other people are, I mean, I guess any news is good news, right? Or
I mean,
no such thing as bad publicity.
Right. And I love that about the Thanksgiving weekend, being whether it's the game or whether it's the Iron Bowl or whether it's whatever the hell they call North Carolina State, but a lot, I mean, Arizona State, a lot of these, games there was such a dust up after Nebraska, Iowa about our captains not shaking hands. And you can say what you want to about it. I think they should have? Maybe. Does it matter? No. If you back it up, and if you go back and watch again, cheap plug, Coordination Overreaction, which I've had
again.
Yeah, again.
Only third time tonight. Okay,
that's fine. And I'll
you've reached your limit. No, I'm kidding.
No, but Haas says in there, and I've heard this section several times about how when you go out there as captains and you don't shake hands, you better be able to back it up on the field. And Nebraska did that by and large. They held Iowa to 5 first downs, 0 of 10 on third downs. It was the little things. It was the things that Nebraska could control and didn't that ended up costing them the game. So am I mad at the captains? No. And whatever their reasoning for it, whether it was by the way, armed state troopers at the 50-yard line or whatever might have been said when Matt Rule was taking his little lap around the stadium, which he does, which Coach Prime does, which most coaches do, you get a feel for what the turf's feeling like. whatever situation that was, I'm sorry, but not shaking hands at the coin toss is not on any level as players getting pepper sprayed in Columbus, Ohio, or the fights that took place. And I don't know, forgive me, I don't know if the game was played at UNC Chapel Hill or if it was played at NC State or what happened down there. Like, there were legit fights. Nebraska standing there, stone faced and whether even if you say Easter Island faced and not want to shake hands, that doesn't bother me. I'm not mad about that. I wish they would have won the game, but and I understand. Well, it's Nebraska and we should do things the right way. Maybe, but this isn't your granddaddy's Nebraska anymore. Like these are not
really.
No, let me finish, because this isn't your granddaddy's college football. It is a different world. These aren't purely student athletes anymore. These are paid athletes. These are, by all accounts, semi-pro professional athletes that are, working through to get an education. If they want to have a chip on their shoulder about whatever, okay, I'm not mad at it.
Okay. I don't know. I kind of feel like that's why a lot of people are fans, is because Nebraska lives by a certain standard that's different. So I don't know, but it didn't bother, the handshake thing didn't bother me like it did a lot of people, but that's just, whatever.
But again, it was the least offensive thing that happened on rivalry weekend.
Right. That's why. I thought it was just kind of like, they're just kind of poking at each other. It's not like they're assaulting each other. Right. That's different. So yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Real quick, Mike Schuster sent John $5 to pad his retirement to say, I'm really glad to hear Todd's thoughts. Missed him this season. GBR.
GBR.
We thank you, Mike.
Todd, I have a question for you. I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure I asked it just right. Because you are very knowledgeable about the NCAA and the rules for players and such. When a player signs with a team on National Signing Day, like yesterday, can they enter the portal while it's still open and decommit? Or is that actually a binding contract?
Well, I'm gonna waffle a little bit here because I'm a little bit confused myself with what the current situation is, because I've heard some people say that they don't sign national letters of intent anymore, that they sign NIL agreements. Now, I had never heard anywhere that an NIL agreement takes the place of a national letter of intent or supersedes it. So quite honestly, right now, I'm not sure what they are signing. But I would have to believe that I do know that in the not too distant past, there have been athletes that have signed the national letter of intent and they've been delivered, and then something happens and they basically say, I need to get out of that. There was a situation not that many years ago where a kid signed to go to Alabama or whatever, and his parents wanted him to go to Florida, and it turned into a big hoo-ha about all of that. I don't know, Minnie. If they've committed, could they turn around and go into the portal? I don't. It'd be interesting if somebody challenged that. I mean,
I have a question, and you got to go back 15 years maybe. Bubba Starling, he committed. I believe he signed, and then he went to the MLB draft, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes you wonder again, the new rules and just how everything is, dare I say, monetized. But my mentality has always been, until they get on campus, no offense, I don't trust an 18-year-old.
I'm kind of, well, until they get on campus, until they attend class.
Yeah.
Until that first day of school. Because I think there are multiple ways they can back out or could back out. So I don't know.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
Because we just got, well, as of yesterday now, we have 7 4-star players that have committed to Nebraska. And I'm just thinking, gosh, I remember when Scott Frost was the head coach, and there were a lot of players that we thought were coming that ended up never even playing, never coming.
Well, and there have been a lot of players, prior to the last couple of years that that left. They came, they had pretty solid reputations. They had a number of stars behind their names, and they never panned out, or for whatever reason they made those decisions to leave.
Isaac here comes in, basically echoing exactly what you're saying there, Todd, is that stars don't mean squat when you don't develop them.
It's very true.
And we've seen that. I mean, going back to, what was the 4-star kid who we flipped from Ohio State in the Riley era? He was from Vegas, Bishop Gorman. Jameer Calvin? Is that right?
You're testing my memory and you're winning right now.
Hold on.
Oh, he's greggling it. This isn't allowed.
No,
anymore.
No, because I don't know. I'm not going to fight it. I apologize. I don't think it was Jameer Calvin.
Well, it was we flipped that kid that was going to go to Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was a lot of pressure running back, and there was a lot of pressure to play him. And here they roll him out like in the 3rd or 4th game of the season, returning kicks. And then he's gone before the end of the season. He didn't pan out. I mean, things like that happen.
Yeah, it does. And there's a lot of people saying, okay, stars don't mean anything because you have to develop them. And it's true, but it's supposed to help you. What my understanding is that it's actually like a guideline for what you can expect from this player.
And I don't know that they're, I'm not a big recruitnik, but I can tell you that the top teams in the country have more 4-star, 5-star players than the teams that aren't at the top. So there's some relation to that. But, as one of the people said just a few minutes ago in the comments, you got to develop them too. I mean, there's very few of them. There are very few of them that come in day one that can compete at a high level, regardless of how many stars they have. And I mean, if we just take a look at our 5-star quarterback, he has a lot of room to grow. I mean, he came in with a lot of skills, more so than many other quarterbacks, but he still has room to grow. And I don't know. I think that I think that teams can still compete with fewer of the superstars. We see that with teams that, I mean, Iowa State's had a great run.
I know they have.
They're not pulling in very many 4-star players. Now, they're not playing in the Big Ten or the SEC, but that coaching staff over in Ames, they can develop players. And, I think that's what Rule is trying to do. I think Rule is trying to assemble a coaching staff, a system, a process, whatever you want to call it, where he brings in the best talent that he can that fits the philosophy of the program, and surround them with quality coaching so that each and every one of them becomes a better player. I think that's what he's trying to do.
Tyjon Lindsey.
Tyjon
Lindsey.
Yep, you're right. I remember that kid. Yeah.
Was the slot receiver from Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas who
Yep.
we flipped. And I believe after Mike Riley left, he ended up at Oregon State, I believe. So it took a little greggling.
He was a little guy. He wasn't that big.
No. So,
yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you're familiar with this, Todd. I know you've been away just a little bit, but sometimes when you just got to know something and there's no other place on the internet to look, you got to greggle it.
Oh, jeez.
I don't have the capacity. I'm glad you can do that. I've tried when I was on before. I tried to have my other computer going so I could look up stuff. Hell, I can't do that.
It's all right. We got
Todd, you are welcome here anytime, especially if Greg can't make it.
Well, just let me know.
I'm kidding, Greg. He's always greggling. He's always greggling. Gosh.
I'm not always greggling. I'm not greggling some of the things that are just popping up in the chat right now. I'm not greggling that at all.
Okay, so you guys are going to think this is really corny, but I just wrote down a equation, if you will.
Like
For
math?
successful, yes. But for a successful football team.
Okay.
Seasoned players plus talent plus moldability equals success for a team. Because that seems to be what the key has been for Indiana, for Iowa State, for Oregon, for all these other teams that are like right at the top tier. They have those seasoned players. They have the talent also.
Right, hit me with that equation one more time. I'm writing it into the comments.
Okay.
Seasoned players plus
talent
plus
moldability.
Now that is not an individual's ability to grow mold, right? Sorry.
I mean, yeah, look it up in the dictionary. Greggle it.
I know. I'm just being silly. All right, there it is. It's all. Hold on. This is fun.
Yes.
Look at that.
Look at that. There we go.
Moldability.
Now, those are the three things that we need. That's it. Right, Todd?
I don't disagree
add
with
anything?
that at all, but that's sometimes, like a lot of things, it's easier said than done.
Now, Melissa wants to include the it factor.
Yeah,
How
but
much
think
time
about.
do we have to talk about the it factor?
I'm curious.
I don't disagree with Gargamel. I think the it factor can be this killer instinct, that maybe our offensive line or defensive line or linebackers kind of don't have sometimes. So,
yeah, I've had many a long conversation into the early hours of the morning with some of my coaching friends about it and what it is. And it can get very philosophical with that. But quite honestly, any athlete that competes at the Division I level has a certain degree of it. It's that thing that separates them from the rest.
Yeah, it's the immeasurables.
I think I can actually define that. It's the practicing when you don't have to. It's the whenever you're bored, you go outside and throw around a football. It's like I think of club soccer, for instance. That's what my kids are involved in. And to me, if they're not going to, when they're bored, if they're not going to go outside and kick a soccer ball around, that means they're just not into it. They don't have that drive, the passion for it. So why should it matter? And I feel like any athlete that is, has that drive, has that it factor.
Well, there's also something to be said about being able to perform when the stakes are at the highest. There's that ability to be a calm in the middle of the storm. And I mean, there's a lot to it. But like I said, I could go on and on and on about the conversations that I've had over the years. But
I want to say this, Marianne, speaking to the heart of 5 Heart, she says you also need heart for the team you're playing for, which I think is lost by the portal and NIL. They are. I mean,
that is so wonderful.
I agree
That
to
is
an extent.
my favorite.
In the modern era of college football, they are. I mean, players know they can get paid legally now. It's not like the old, McDonald's bag of the SEC days from even 5 years ago. Like they can legally go do endorsements. Well, we had Dakota's Crawford a couple of years back, with the HVAC, company. I mean, just they can get endorsement deals or just get a check. And so a lot of them, you're right, they're chasing the dollar. And so they'll always be chasing the dollar. That's why we can't put that particular toothpaste back in the tube, but you still need to recruit guys who they want to play at Nebraska. They don't just want to play college football and get paid to do it, because there are bigger bank accounts than Nebraska. Not many, but there are some bigger bank accounts than Nebraska. Obviously, you look at like Texas with the oil money and things like that. But we still need guys who want to wear the N. They got to have heart. Thank you, Marianne.
I'd argue a bit with that. Don't get me wrong. Heart is huge. I mean, I don't dispute what Marianne said. But what I'll argue with is that we're still very early into this thing that we call NIL. It's the Wild West, the portal. It's this combination that's created chaos, uncertainty, transition. And people throw out words like, terms that there's no loyalty, that they're chasing the money, that they're not in it for the team. So we hear a lot of negativism about that. And quite honestly, I'm very frustrated when you look at some of the players from Nebraska that have decided they're going to leave. I'm not real happy about that.
Yeah.
But argue with me on this. Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmacher. Ty Robinson didn't come back this year for the money. Now, okay, maybe he was trying to improve his draft stock, so he's looking long term. But that guy wasn't out there playing for the Bucks. He was out there playing because of the commitment that he had to the other 10 guys that were lined up out there with him.
I agree.
And Nash Hutmacher was the same way.
And for all of his flaws, Isaac Gifford.
John Bullock. And so, and here's the other thing. There's going to be 100, we're headed to this 105-man roster. Right now, at least in the near future, it sounds like schools are going to award 85 scholarships. That kind of sounds, they're not going to fill all 105. That's kind of what you're reading about right now. But not all of them are going to get rich.
Yeah.
When you look at what Nebraska put out there, if you want to go 2 deep, 3 deep, 4 deep, there's guys out there that we're spending time on that field making plays. They're not getting rich. They're not doing this because they're making a ton of money. There's some of them that are. Don't get me wrong. There are some of them that are. But
I got to address this. Child of the 1970s said, what flaws does Isaac Gifford have? Angles to the ball carrier wasn't necessarily great in pass protection. Was great against the run when he was up on the line, but some of it, and again, I love Isaac Gifford. I love the fact he came back, and I love the speech that he gave. You can go back and watch it on Chasing 3 from, I believe, the offseason. when he said that after Scott Frost's first year, his brother, went to the NFL, and not just Luke, but a lot of the class, and so the foundation deteriorated, it crumbled without the senior upperclassmen leadership, and so he wanted to stay behind to help cement the foundation here under Matt Rule. I love that about Isaac Gifford. I love, what he was able, but he was, I think, physically limited at times. So
Pitt wraps it up really good right there.
Say that, Todd.
No, I tell you what. Well, one thing too, he was also limited with his speed. He wasn't the fastest defensive back out there, and sometimes he would find himself, and it's because of his passion. He'd play a little bit of hero ball, and wouldn't stay where he was supposed to stay. So you got to love him because he played hard and he loved Nebraska and he was a good leader.
Yep. And child of the 19th. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying this highlighted comment here. Pitt says Gifford is an ill-behaved Labrador. I love that dog, but he'll chase every squirrel. And then and Fred says chase every squirrel the wrong angle and over pursues.
Okay, but then the child of the 1970s says then Gifford probably been played closer to the line of scrimmage. If he's not good in coverage, he's always the deep safety, which is true.
Oh, they brought him up quite often. He that was the thing. He was kind of a hybrid.
I personally loved Isaac Gifford. I thought that he controlled the defense to the best of his ability.
He was better last year.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, I'm pulling up. I'm not Greggling stats. I'm just going Huskers.com for these stats. But yeah, give me a minute.
All right.
I'm not so sure he didn't play most of the season, more than a little banged up this year.
Yeah.
But to that point,
forget about that.
Right, wrong, or somewhere in between. That's the dog in him.
It is. I love that dog. That's a good analogy there. Okay. So
every time I say I always think of sit, Ubu, sit, good dog, from the 1980s.
Okay, so have we finished the rivalry conversation?
Oh God, we finished that a long time ago.
Okay, so are we moving on to the staff changes?
Let me see. We are 48 minutes in, and yes, we can move on to item 2 on our outline. Todd, I don't know if you missed the format, buddy, but there's a format. I think you have a copy of the format somewhere, but we're moving on to. But I should have.
I'm good. I'll just follow.
So we're discussing staffing changes. First thing, Monday morning, we get all these rumors that Tony White is being considered for the defensive coordinator for FSU. And I mean, I didn't know that was actually a possibility. Did you guys?
No. I didn't have that on my. Well, let me put it this way: there are a lot of things that happened in 2024 that were not on my bingo card. Like my bingo card is relatively clean, and then all the Dobb marks are off the map. I didn't have Tony White to Florida State on my 2024 bingo card.
I didn't see Florida State, but I'm not surprised Tony White's leaving.
Yeah.
We had just talked the night before, again, on Coronation Overreaction Sunday night, that Haas predicted FSU, but head coaching at Fresno State. He thought he'd go out west and not to Florida. So, I give him half credit for getting the initials of the school right, but other than that, is it a lateral move? Some would say yes. I'll say this: it's a no loss situation for Tony White at Florida State, because they're 2-10, I think, this year. I mean, they're abysmal. If Mike Norvell, Tony White, and Gus Malzahn turn it around, heroes, ticker tape parade there. And if not, it might actually elevate Tony White, probably Malzahn more just because he has head coaching experience. But if they don't improve significantly, Norvell's out. And I still think probably within 3 years, Tony White's a head coach somewhere if his defense at Florida State is on par with what it was in Nebraska.
Yeah. And, the thing is that Rule said on Monday that, was it Monday or Tuesday? I forget which day. He said that Tony White was leaving for family reasons. So, being the diligent little inspector that I am, detective.
Stalker?
Yeah, that too. I looked it up, and he was actually born in Florida. He was born in Key West, which is a wonderful place to visit. Not a good place to live.
He's a California boy.
Yeah. So that could have something to do with it. But along the way, he's also taking this guy with him.
That one hurts.
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
And James Williams and Jamari Butler, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. Tiger Shark Diver, we don't know what the coaching staff's going to look like realistically for the bowl game, right? But certainly in the offseason, this might be talk about shooting your shot. But TSD says if we got Sue as a defensive line coach, we would get some 5 stars. I don't know if Ndamukong Suh is looking to get into coaching. I don't know if you start your coaching career as defensive line coach for the University of Nebraska, but that is definitely an interesting.
I like that idea. Why not?
That is an interesting comment. So TSD, thank you very much. That's something to think about.
I like it.
I don't know. I think that, last year Tony White was looking at some head coaching jobs. Little surprised he left for another coordinator job. And we don't know what the family situation or the circumstances might be. I just think that there perhaps a little bit of differences of opinions emerged among the coaching staff. I don't know if bringing Butler on board and some of that NFL philosophy might have had an influence. I don't know. It's hard to say what goes on behind the scenes. But Tony White was not going to stay at Nebraska long term. And, so we move forward.
Yeah. And, like Rule said, he is going to hire somebody who's really great at being a defensive coordinator. It might be John Butler, but he's interviewing a lot of different people. He doesn't feel so under pressure. I think when, he got hired here, he had a lot of pressure to, quickly fill the slots. And so now, he knows so many people, and I think that he's serious that we're going to get somebody who's really great at being a defensive coordinator. Kind of like we were able to get somebody really great at being an offensive coordinator. I mean, who would have thunk it?
Well, I wonder if John Butler isn't auditioning, for the next few weeks. And, maybe that's, maybe Rule is going to give him an opportunity to show what he can do, before a final decision is made.
Yeah.
I'm actually finding stats for Isaac Gifford compared to this year and last year. So
still,
yeah.
Are you still? We've moved on. Just so you know.
But it's okay.
Oh, right.
But 2023 was objectively a better season for GIF. So I'm confident enough to say that right out the gate.
Okay.
So in 2024, he was number 20. I just had it here. Doggone it. 26 in the conference in tackles. I'm sorry, 24 in the conference. 69 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, with 1 pass defense. In 2023, he was number 12 in the conference with 86 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, half of a sack, and he had 8 pass defenses, 1 interception, and again was he had 44 solo tackles. So, objectively speaking, 2023 was a better season for Isaac Gifford.
Yeah. Wow.
And let's see. Fred says Gregel's like CompuServe on dial-up. Yeah, that definitely. Gregel's an overworked server right now. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, Gregel needs to be like retired. MWI87 says John Butler's secondary sucked. Seems about right to promote him. Have you guys seen a lot of these disgruntled Nebraska fans around? I mean, come on.
They're on the thread. They're on the game threads. They take over the game threads.
You guys.
Yeah.
His secondary didn't suck per se. I mean, I think he's perfectly qualified to be our defensive coordinator for the bowl game, whatever bowl game that is. So.
Don Dre, which Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, your long lost friend and wrestling opponent from back in the day, said I heard Nebraska could be playing Missouri in a bowl game.
That'd be good. I'd like to play Mizzou. That'd be kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know if, hold on, let me double check. Let me do a quick scan of the format just to see.
What?
I just was. Okay.
I'm gonna show this.
Okay.
What does this say?
Cooney?
Coon?
I don't want to say that one anymore.
Cooney girl.
That makes me
Todd, how come you and John never did a Monday show this season? I did the beard, by the way. And can I answer that?
Go ahead.
It's because I replaced Todd. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
No, the simple answer is it didn't work out, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. But he's here tonight, so we're embracing this. This is wonderful. We got some Todd tonight, guys. Okay, so then the next guy that we need to talk about is Garrett McGuire.
Yes. What about him?
It was just announced that he is going to be the wide receivers coach at Texas Tech for his dad.
For his dad.
Well, good for him.
Yep.
The writing was on the wall there. I think I'm not at all surprised by that, and I think we may have seen him let go, regardless of what happened with the offensive coordinator situation. I think he's a good coach. I think his youth plays against him a little bit, which is unfortunate. I think he's probably one of these guys that in 10 years, he'll be one of those hot commodities out there. He'll make a name for himself. But once Dana Holgorsen became the offensive coordinator, he had one request. He wanted to bring in his own wide receiver coach. And if you go back a couple of weeks, perhaps the most direct criticism that Holgorsen made since he's been here was the horrible perimeter blocking, the total lack of perimeter blocking that the team was showing. That's on the wide receivers. That's the wide receivers. And that's his responsibility.
Yes.
And, I think every one of us, would smash our heads against the tabletop or the television screen or whatever throughout the season when when Satterfield was calling those flare passes or horizontal passes, and they get blown up. Well, the wide receivers weren't blocking, and you're not gonna move the ball down the field with that kind of an attack if your receivers don't block. So Holgerson's going to bring in a former player of his, a guy that coaches at Kentucky. Looks like a couple of receivers may come with him. So yeah, I'm sure McGuire will have other opportunities, and he's going to be a good coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's so young,
The thing is, I just feel like, it's probably a good move that he's going back to Texas. Texas is like one of the best places for football. Let's just call it what it is. Every high school, that's all they're all about. And it's just a good place for resources. And being under his dad, I think, is a great thing as well. So hopefully he'll come back one day and be part of our staff again. But in the meantime, we did hire Dana Holgerson to be the offensive coordinator for the next 2 years, and he's getting $1.2 million each year.
A lot of money.
Which, yeah, for an offensive coordinator, I thought that was actually quite a bit. Don't you? Where do you think that lands in offensive coordinator salaries?
Well, I think there's other coordinators that make $1 million, $1 million plus.
Mm-hmm.
Holgerson is good. The timing was right, and the fact that Nebraska was able to bring him in when they did, have him on the staff now, I think bodes well. I suppose a lot of people have opinions on maybe someone else they would like to see come in and be an offensive coordinator, but I'm not sure how you argue against Dana Holgerson.
I know. Yes.
For comparison, the Notre Dame offensive coordinator is making $2.1 million annually. Utah's Andy Ludwig, offensive coordinator, making $1.85 million annually. Clemson's is making 1.75. Charlie Weiss Jr. at Ole Miss is 1.65. So,
well, one of our viewers here reminds us he's also getting paid by Houston.
Yeah,
so
that helps.
That's true.
That helps.
Londell, appreciate that. And James not does it, but confirms with the 4.5 million. I mean,
let's just be honest. He's not hurting. These are millions and millions. He's just collecting checks everywhere he goes. Who knows what he was getting paid for Sonny Dykes as well. I just think that this is kind of crazy.
Oh, it's nuts. Here's a little. I've been aware of Dana Holgerson since he was, coordinator with Mike Leach at Texas Tech. Made a name for himself, became head coach at West Virginia, then at Houston. I didn't know until one of the broadcasts, he was born and raised in Iowa. He's an Iowa boy.
Brother.
Yeah.
He grew up down in the Quad Cities. And then he was at Iowa Wesleyan when Hal Mumme and Mike Leach were at Iowa Wesleyan, dinky little NAIA school in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. And that's where the air raid offense was created, at Iowa Wesleyan with Hal Mumme and Mike Leach. So Holgerson's roots go way deeper than I thought, than I was aware they did.
Well, let's we talked about, Holgerson. Let's talk about the new, Holgerson wanted to bring in his own coach. Now, Minnie, I don't know if you've got an image for this.
No, I didn't, because you can only fit 10 images on StreamYard.
Right. But what you do is you use one, you drop it, you upload it, you get the next one ready.
I did all the images myself. So You're just gonna have to imagine what he looks like, okay?
Okay.
Jeez.
The wide receivers coach from Kentucky, who I'm probably going to mispronounce his name, at least initially, Dykeel Shorts, or Dykeel Shorts Jr. I was getting that. Thank you. He has some success in elevating players to the NFL with Tank Dell's progression, serving as a prime example. As a rookie, Dell had 49 receptions, 709 yards, 7 touchdowns his rookie season. And that is, by the way, Nathaniel Tank Dell's. He thrived. This is true. I'm not just reading this word for word. He thrived under Short's mentorship, leading the nation with 109 receptions, 1,398 yards, 17 touchdowns back in 2022, culminating in a third-round selection by the Houston Texans in last year's, the 2023 NFL draft. So definitely talk about developing and getting guys ready for the next level.
Yeah. He's fantastic at it. In fact, I kind of think, well, there's two things to this. We are keeping our eye on a guy who just entered the transfer portal yesterday. This guy, because he is from Kentucky.
What's that say?
His one, really? You can't see it?
I mean, I can see it. I'm going to have to. All right. I want to start by expressing my gratitude to Coach Stoops and the University of Kentucky for allowing me to be part of such an incredible program and community. The experiences, lessons, and relationships I've gained during my time here will stay with me forever. By this is Barry and Brown. Thank you to my teammates, coaches, and the entire Kentucky staff for their unwavering support and belief in me. You've all helped me grow both as an athlete and as a person, and I couldn't be more appreciative. I also want to thank God for guiding me every step of the way and giving me the strength to pursue my dreams. After much thought, prayer, and conversations with my family, I've decided to enter the transfer portal for my final year of eligibility. Thank you for everything, Big Blue Nation.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get this guy. I mean,
that's a lot to read. I think one of my contacts is being wonky. So
he's legit, and he just entered the transfer portal yesterday, right after we hired he's a wide receiver. So right after we hired his coach. So hopefully, this is just a guy that can walk right in.
Well, I mean, we talked about that when Tony White and Terrance Knighton left, and guys we knew who were close to those coaches, especially like James Williams, entered the transfer portal. It has to eventually, that pendulum has to swing back to Nebraska, right? So if Nebraska is getting a popular coach, then yeah, we hope to get one of the top players that played under that coach. So be nice to get Barry and Brown in Lincoln, because I'll say this, and Todd, you tell me if you agree or disagree. Meaning we've talked about this all season, but feel free to chime in as well. The transfer portal receivers that we brought in, a la Banks and Nayor, underdelivered.
Well, I would say in the scope of the entire season, yes, but Banks played really well once Holgerson got there.
Yes.
And part of it, I think, because Holgerson challenged him. And if you recall, Banks, he wore number 4. He was a first-year player at Nebraska, and he was awarded one of those single-digit jerseys. So the kid had something going for him, leadership skills, accountability, or whatever it might be. And no, he was far from impressive early in the season. But I'll tell you what, in the last 3 games, the kid made some plays. So it's unfortunate that his career is over, about the time he starts producing.
Yeah.
I want to throw this up from James Boardman, paraphrasing, and I'll fill it in, which might be, I apologize to our deeply religious brethren, might be a little bit blasphemous, but I'll edit James' comment here. But the portal giveth and the portal taketh away. Blessed be the name of the portal.
Well,
so little paraphrase of the book of Job for y'all there. So thanks, James.
Just keep in mind too that players from Nebraska, as well as players from every other school in the country, have entered the portal. Now, Jamari Butler, he entered the portal. Was it last year or the year before? He entered the portal, and he came back.
He came back. Yep.
And some people are saying that, this might be some leverage, that they're trying to get a little bit more NIL money. I don't know how the game is played anymore, with this new world that exists. Are they gone for good? Who knows? And then it's up to the coaches to say, well, thanks, but no thanks. And there's a lot of players. There's a lot of players that are going to be in that portal that will not be playing Division I football next year.
TSD, we do have a GM. We have a GM. I was going to look him up for this show. However, there's all this other news that happened. So we can't just... Yeah, there's so much. But we do have a GM that we hired in the beginning of the year. So.
Sean Padden, right?
I can't even remember his name. Is that his name?
General manager.
She was the director of the Texas Interscholastic.
No, you're thinking of Dr. Elsa.
Okay.
She's not the GM.
Okay, my mistake.
Yeah. We did hire a GM.
According to Huskers.com, Sean Padden is in his second season as Nebraska's general manager in 2024. Padden has worked with Matt Rule in 10 of Rule's 12 seasons as a head coach. So good. I'm sorry. Now I would have thrown this up there because I'm getting I'm catching some shit.
Yeah, you guys.
Kaylee Bartles is bucking up against what I said about how Nayor and Banks underdelivered. She says underdelivered is a rough assessment with a freshman quarterback and an incompetent offensive coordinator. You're right. We know that we had an under-delivering freshman quarterback as well, too. So,
what? That's not what she meant. What? He thinks this is funny.
I'm going to hell for that one.
Yeah, you might be.
I'm going to mini hell. She's going to banish me. So, sorry, I can resist.
All right.
But Colin J agrees. Yeah, we did have a freshman quarterback. We did have an Marcus Satterfield who didn't get the job done. I mean, obviously that's why Dana Holgerson was brought in as a consultant or analyst and very quickly promoted to offensive coordinator. So,
well, here's the thing, guys. We now have Dana Holgerson, and he's already shown us what we can kind of look forward to. I don't know. I mean, I'm really thinking that this bowl game could be epic.
There was a comment in there, and I don't know if it got starred, and I can't scroll up and find it, but we don't have much of a defense for this bowl game, because when players enter the transfer portal, you assume that they are basically waiving the ability to play in the bowl game. Like, that's why I don't understand why.
We have MJ Sherman. We have the entire defensive line.
True. Well, we don't have James Williams. We don't have.
But he's not a starter.
Yeah, but he's a pretty important component.
We have Cam Lenhart. We have Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmacher. We have MJ Sherman.
Okay. We have John Bullock. We have Isaac Gifford.
Yes.
We have Marquise Buford. Malcolm Hartzog.
Yeah. There you go.
Deshaun Singleton.
Right. Yeah.
Sierra Wright.
You guys.
You're right.
All right.
And yeah.
I'm sorry.
Javin Wright. Okay. It's okay. We'll let you know when you can chime in.
Well, at least as of today, we have them.
This is true. Well, you know what the beauty is we were talking about this. There's so many seniors that we have on defense, though. And typically, seniors would probably opt out to not play in the bowl, right? Because they want to make sure they're not injured going forward into the NFL. But our seniors, no, they fought to get here. They're playing in the bowl.
Yeah.
Yep.
Van Poppel Van Poppel wasn't even on the 2 deep.
I know.
So, and he played, in the last few games a little bit. Yeah. I'm not worried about the defense right now.
Yeah, me either.
Husker for Life says, "Holy shit, Todd is back and he looks like Santa Claus." Well, ho, ho, ho. I added that last part. For the benefit of the people who are just listening to the audio version of this the next day, I added in the ho, ho, ho. The comment didn't say
that. Okay. So.
Miss you, Todd. I need to have like every other week just phone
conference
with you, buddy.
So. All right. So yesterday was the early signing period. We got 20 new signees, actually 21 now. Nebraska was ranked 19th, 20th in some rankings, but 6th in the Big Ten, 19th in nationally. We got 7 4-stars, although Justin Raji said we have 8. So I don't know where the 8th one is. And 13 3-stars. But they still have through February 5th to sign. And the most recent one is this dude, which guys, tell me what you think about this. What do you think about the graffiti that they use for the 2025 class?
I like it.
I can't read it.
It says Jeremiah Jones.
Is that the final answer, Todd?
Yeah, I look at boxcars going past on the railroad all the time, and I can't read any of it. So if you're tagging it to be famous, thinking that people are going to know who you are, well, Todd Wolverton doesn't know who the hell you are. And I wouldn't know who that. Jones? That's a Jones?
That's a Jones.
Okay. It's kind of cool.
Kind of cool. Yeah. I kind of like it. He's a 4-star wide receiver from Murray High School in guess where?
Arizona.
Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky.
Another Kentucky. And I kind of have a feeling that somebody was whispering in his ear, "Hey, I'm going over to Nebraska. Why don't you join?"
Aaron Keene says, "I can't read it also. Get off my lawn." Todd, probably.
Between Aaron and Pitt taking shots at me, I'll tell you what. It's good to be back. It's
we missed you so much, dude.
Well, oh boy. Okay. Well, we got that guy.
Todd, can I ask a question?
Fire away.
Are you familiar with the little game that we play here on Thursday nights?
What? A game?
A little game.
It's a little game. It's a guessing game.
Okay. I don't do very good at guessing games, but I'll
that's okay because I asked the question.
It's not a no, wait.
I asked the question.
Let me just preface this.
Let me
preface this. It's not a good game.
It's the best game, Todd. It's a little game we like to play called What's Greg Drinking Today? What's Greg drinking today? Whoa.
I have seen that. I've seen that. Yeah. Okay. So now you're just rubbing it in. You're rubbing it in because you have some and I don't.
No, this is I'm down to this and 2 more, which will be here for the rest of it. So I'm going to have to make a trip into Missouri this weekend, get some cheaper gas because of the ridiculous Illinois state gas tax and some Yingling. And I might also get a new TV because, by gosh, it's time to treat myself. So,
well, I can get it in Kansas. I just don't go to Kansas. So.
Vince says it's kind of like theater, not good. Hey, now, come on. This is much shorter than 5-part theater.
I think this is why you and I make good co-hosts. We both like really corny things.
Aaron says it's a guessing game, but the answer is usually 78% of the time. And Fred in true Fred fashion says, "Don't rub it in on Todd G's. It's his first night back."
Fred's got my back. Well, I have. Yes. I've been drinking Shiner Cheer. It is my favorite beer. My
Oh, that's
favorite beer of all beers. And
Really?
What's
oh
it taste like?
Like Christmas in a bottle.
yeah,
Really?
Christmas in a bottle. You're right.
Hmm.
It's got good flavor. And
Does it have a description on the label that you could read to Minnie?
oh God,
Now he has to get his readers. I knew it. I knew it.
Hold on.
There's Santa.
yeah.
I can read it for you, so I can.
Brewed with peaches and pecans.
Yeah, buddy.
Ooh.
I think though, if it's from Texas, aren't those pecans?
They might be.
I think they're pecans.
Nice. Peaches and pecans.
Yeah.
Love
It's
it.
good stuff.
Let's see.
Is it
It
dark?
is
Is it
My wife found Line and Kugel Oktoberfest for $4 a 6-pack. So we got 2 cases of that sitting in the garage.
Very good.
So
Holiday Cheer, Shiner Holiday Cheer, which, by the way, I was drinking Shiner Bock last week. So we know that at least one good thing comes out of Texas, and that's beer and probably barbecue as well.
and football players.
And football players. Shiner Holiday Cheer is a dark wheat ale with a rich malt body and a deep color. It's a Bavarian-style Dunkelweizen with hints of peach and pecan with a complex taste and sweet chocolatey notes. Malted barley and wheat, Texas peaches, roasted pecans, and krausening for smoothness. It's 4.2% ABV, and it pairs well with salads, mild cheeses, or light desserts.
it pairs well with everything.
That's right. I really enjoy Holiday Cheer, Todd. I have it every December.
Yep.
Todd,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know. I
like
can't keep
You
it
know I
together.
like you. This is hilarious. Snipe Husker comes up with the wildest things. He says Todd looks like he's a father on a compound in Utah. You
That's
don't,
okay
actually.
because
If
But
that
maybe-
were the case, they would all be legal. They would all be legal. All of them would be legal.
Fred takes it to another level. Fred says that Greg's beer description is disturbingly erotic. I don't know what that says about me, him, or all of us.
Oh, geez.
Getting hot over some beer.
I know. Okay, so let's move on to the next signee. We're going to move on to this guy, Dawson Merritt. Have you noticed that these guys like to actually show their skin? They try and like yesterday with the next guy I'm going to show, they take off their shirt to put on another shirt, so other people can see. I
We
know.
can't say these things. We're not even talking about Blue Chew anymore.
That's what they do. So I think it's interesting that his shirt is showing just a little bit of his tummy.
I was concerned, honest, when Tony White announced he was leaving and Terrance Knighton was following. I thought we might lose Dawson Merritt. So I was very relieved when he signed on the dotted line.
Yep. Me too. From Stillwell, Kansas. Very, very happy that he's all in. What was that?
I don't know what that was.
That was me. That was me. I hit something wrong.
That's
Haley
interesting.
says, of course, it's the first thing Minnie notices.
Then we also got Cortez Mills, this guy. This is the guy that I was talking about who took off his shirt. Remember, he was the prankster yesterday.
Oh, because he was the Oklahoma Sooner commit for months.
Yeah.
And then flipped on signing day.
You got that right. And it was he was trying to pull a fast one. But now we have him.
Aaron Keats says, please clear your browser history after the show.
Okay. I will. Jeez. All right. So the next 4-star we got was Malcolm Simpson, which we've been talking about him for months and months. And so he committed yesterday.
Like that he's in a black shirt. He's
That's
ready
a
to get after it. He's ready to get after it.
Throwing the bones, baby. Okay. He's from Hitchcock, Texas. looking forward to him.
I agree. Aaron Keene says that dude looks like a beast. That dude does look like a beast. I'm going to put that one back up there. I mean, that dude looks like he's built rock solid. Which, that reminds me, and I apologize, Minnie, I'm gonna marginally take over the show just a little bit.
Go for it.
All right, let's start here. Todd, this isn't the best image, but you're famous for something around the Coronation YouTube channel.
Well,
yeah.
I am not going to make assumptions. I am not going to grade badonks without actually being able to see the badonk. I mean, we've all seen those guys in the weight room that are all bench press and curls, getting the upper, working on the lats, getting the upper body built, and they have toothpicks for legs. Yeah. So this is serious business. Quality control is really important when it comes to evaluating badonks, and I got to see it.
All right. So,
hey, can I ask you a question?
Oh gosh, I'm afraid now. Be afraid.
Our German player, David Hofken.
Yeah.
Have you seen his badonk?
Yeah, it is upper level. It's a higher level badonk. Yeah.
It's just a weird
playing.
Todd, that guy.
Well, if you want the best badonks are offensive linemen, as they should be. Yeah. And our little left guard, he's 300 pounds. He's little. The left guard,
Gunner.
No, isn't Gunner the right guard?
No, that was Bryce, I thought. Oh, I'm sorry, guard. I was thinking tackle. Justin Evans, left guard. Yep.
He's got a well-developed. Yep.
Huh. It allows you to push off.
Yes. Yes.
Fred says, badonk business. Todd slides in wearing socks and tidy whities to old-time rock. Now,
okay, you're into production, Greg. We'll make it happen.
No, I can't do that. But serious question, Todd, what's your go-to Bob Seger song?
I'm kind of a night moves guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Minnie? Minnie, do you have Minnie, are you old enough to know who Bob Seger is?
I am, but no, I don't know which song. But I know I like all of his songs.
Where I grew up,
The Joker, isn't that one of his songs?
No.
Steve Miller.
That's Steve Miller Band.
Oh, sorry.
I would have to say, I mean to interrupt you there, Todd.
No, go ahead. Because I'll sing here in a minute.
What is it?
Turn the page. You look a little like Bob Seger right now.
Yeah.
I wish you get that Bob Seger paycheck, though, don't you?
Long, lonesome highway, east of Omaha. See, and what town is on a long, lonesome highway east of Omaha? Oakland, Iowa. Yellow Jackets. Class of 80.
Yeah, turn the page.
Are you really here promoting Iowa? What are you doing?
I grew up there. I wear this. It's burned into me.
Don't ever say that again.
Well, look who decided to join the party.
Finally.
BFOTS, Josh Hansen says, anything Waylon did was better than most, IMO. And then he's going to say, I just got here what I miss. I'm waiting for that comment next. So,
all right, moving on.
Oh, real quick. Kaylee says, what's a 5-heart podcast? And she does amend this. She does follow without a good badonk evaluation, a wasted evening. That's what it is. So,
it's true. Kaylee, you're going to like this next one. This is just for you, Kaylee.
Oh, God. I'm scared now. I don't know.
Oh,
Christian Jones.
Right? That's Christian Jones.
I can't look.
Yeah. He's a linebacker.
You can't judge linebacker badonks. Everybody knows that.
Look at the thighs on that kid.
I know.
You know what? I don't think those are his real thighs. I just think those are his motion thighs.
They've been airbrushed in or something. Holy smokes.
What are we doing?
I am sorry. I was just helping out. Jeez.
I agree. Charles, it says Letterkenny vibes. It looks a little. Can we put that picture back up there?
Sure.
Looks a little. Stop it. Looks a little like Jared Kiso, aka Wayne from Letterkenny. Shout out. You know what? Whoever's keeping score, plus 15 to Charles for the Letterkenny reference. All right. I think Pitt. You usually keep score. And Josh says someone superimposed that kid's head on my thighs. Embarrassing.
Click the one above it.
5 heart turned into 50 shades. Well, you know what they say, Aaron? 5 shades are all the shades you need. I don't know.
I don't think they say that.
They don't say
All
that
right.
at all.
So then the next guy is Isaiah Mosey, whose dad is one of our analysts. He's from Missouri. Remember Lee Summit High School? 4-star wide receiver. Ring a bell?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
No
mean,
comments?
I really thought, I no. Great
Okay.
job
Happy?
finding the
Wonderful.
picture. Show us, here's what, do we have an image of Sean Hammerbeck?
You know we do.
We do. Let's see that 4-star offensive tackle from Winter, South Dakota, brother.
Look at this huge guy. I mean, Rule's not that short. This guy looks like he's 7 feet tall, doesn't he?
A lot of room to grow on that kid too.
How do we feel about him, Todd?
You
Evaluation
can't tell.
time.
You can't tell. You can't tell in baggy shorts. Everybody knows that.
We've had some good offensive linemen come out of South Dakota, and hopefully he's the next one. That being said, I'm not even going to go down that road. Never mind.
Oh, please.
No,
I was going to comment about Grant Bricks. We didn't, he came in with a lot of accolades, and we didn't hear. My assumption is they intended to redshirt him from the get-go, but we didn't hear anything about him this year. So,
but I think, Todd, correct me if I'm wrong. I'll defer to your expertise. No offense, Minnie. For offensive linemen, it's really tough, especially in the Big Ten, to just roll in as a true freshman and make an impact. Bryce Benhart did it probably at a time when we didn't have any other options. No offense. I mean, he came in as the highest rated recruit ever out of the state of Minnesota. Grant Bricks, let's give him time in the weight room, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's what has to happen. I mean,
yeah.
Back in the glory days, an offensive lineman didn't see the field until he was a junior. Regularly. I mean, they just didn't. The depth was there.
Braska Rascal, my buddy Scott, is from Winter, South Dakota. Whew.
And BFOTS Josh Hansen says, is that where Brock Lesnar's from too? No, Brock Lesnar, the multi-time NCAA heavyweight champion and UFC champion, WWE champion, failed NFL player, was from Webster, South Dakota. So there you go.
How did you know that?
I Greggle shit. Hold on. This is what I do in my spare time. All right? Boom, Greggle.
It's not his spare time. It's my time. He's greggling on. All right. So do you want to go through the 3 stars that we also got?
Yeah. Do we have images of all those, or can we just get to ripping them and naming them?
Yeah.
Cool. Where do you want me to start?
At the top.
Let's start at the very beginning because it's a very good place to start. When you read, you begin with ABC. When you sing, you begin with do, re, mi. That's right. I'm cultured. Sound of Music. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Y'all have that tangent, and I apologize. That, like, movie or show that you would default to as a kid when you were sick. For me, for whatever reason, like if I was homesick in like grade school, my mom would just put on Sound of Music and I'd take a nap. I still love Sound of Music. I don't care. Say what you want.
Good
Sound
movie.
of Music is classy shit.
Good movie.
Does it make you fall asleep still?
No, I love it. I'll sit up and watch the whole damn thing. So
It's a good movie.
Culture like a peach. Shut up, Fred. All right. We've got 3-star quarterback from Orange, California, T.J. Lateef. We don't have any pictures of any of these players, do we?
No, remember I told you.
Yeah. I should have told you can remove them and then add more. Moving on. We have a 3-star offensive tackle from Olathe, Kansas, Juju Marks. Okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. 3-star linebacker from Millard North, an in-state kid, Pierce Mooberry. 3-star defensive lineman from West Fargo, North Dakota, Cade Petrak. Probably mispronounced that. Petrazak.
Yep.
And he's so well liked. You have him listed twice on here. Double check that. Q and U. Anyway, cornerback Brian Weber, a 3-star from Missouri City, Texas, which I guess is better and or worse than being from Texas City, Missouri. 3-star defensive lineman Tyson Terry from Omaha North. The 3-star athlete Jackson Carpenter from Lincoln Southwest. You got Brian Weber on here twice and Tyson Terry on here twice. And Jackson Carpenter. Okay, that list got much longer than it needed to be. So, what?
I forgot some.
What players?
Lord, that's horrible. Oh my gosh, I didn't. Wow. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. If there's any 3-star players that I did not mention or any players that I didn't mention, I'm so sorry. That is
Fred?
so bad.
Fred.
Come on.
And also, I love you, man.
Okay, so
He says that I'm the bid $1 of podcasting.
you're the what?
He says that I'm the bid $1, like Price is Right, bid $1 of podcasting.
You are. He's right.
Wow.
He's totally right. Okay.
Vince Watson says that Tyson Terry is going to be the next polar bear. That'd be good. I would love to see that type of not rebuilding, but refueling at that defensive line position of just nasty nose guards. And I'll say this, and Todd, jump in, agree, disagree, whatever. Nash, and this is actually a mini comment. I don't know if she made it on the show or if it was in one of our production meetings, but Nash was not the same after he lost all the weight to wrestle last winter. I don't think he was as overpowering this year as he was last year. I'm not going to greggle the stats, but there were times this season that I just thought that Nash disappeared. If we can get someone like Nash, maybe pre-wrestling, pre-collegiate wrestling Nash, that could be really fun again. Almost like having 2 Ty Robinsons up front.
Well, don't forget this. Tyson Terry will go for his 4th state wrestling championship this year. And so, I mean, that's another similarity he would have to Nash. They had planned to take some weight off of him anyway.
The hell, Melissa?
With Hutmacher. They were gonna trim him down from where he was at anyway. So, I don't know. I thought the interior of the defensive line played outstanding the entire season. So, whether he wasn't the same after he dropped all that weight, I don't know.
Do you think Do you think it got we always talk about Ndamukong Suh and his name escapes me now. The guy who was right next to him when Suh had his essentially Heisman year, and then the next year kind of disappeared. And the interior defensive lineman, somebody help me out. Who am I thinking of? Not
Randy Gregory?
No. Yeah, Jared Crick. Thank you, Fred. Crick had a tremendous season in Ndamukong's last year. And then when Ndamukong wasn't being eaten up by double and triple teams,
right,
Crick kind of, I don't want to say he can disappear, but do you think that maybe while Nash wasn't as impressive statistically, he was doing his job as far as opening up lanes for the backers, opening up some of the gaps for, like Ty Robinson had a tremendous year. Maybe.
Well, that was Nash's job. I mean, Nash's job was to occupy as many blockers as he could.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And think how many times this season, teams went for it on 4th and 1, whatever it might be, and the center of the line shut him down. Well, that was Ty and Nash in large part.
It was.
So I don't know. Tyson Terry, from everything I've heard about him, he's a very special football player. And I would anticipate that he will probably remind a lot of people. I think the reason people are comparing him to Hutmacher is because he's of a similar stature. He's not 6'8" or 7 or 6 or whatever that Ty Robinson was. So, he's not that big. But physique wise, he'll remind a lot of people of Hutmacher.
Yeah. Kaylee Bartles adds those intangibles are things the coaches see, but we never look at in the stat line. She's right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good reminder.
Thanks, Kaylee, for making me feel dumber than I already felt.
Kaylee is so awesome. I love it. Okay, so
can I just give a quick shout out to the Holger Maniacs?
Yeah.
What an awesome group that we have. This community.
Oh no.
Okay, no, I gotta say that for later.
Go ahead.
All right. I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you for coming out each and every week, not just on Thursday nights, but on Sunday nights, Monday nights, Tuesday nights. I pop in, obviously I'm there on Sunday nights, but I pop in on Monday nights and Tuesday nights, and I see a lot of you who continue to be here. That's 4 nights out of the week. And I don't know if y'all know this, but they're like Netflix and HBO Max and a lot of other entertainment options. And you still keep coming back. And it boggles my mind. I love it. I love all of you. Thank you. Thank you for coming out all the time. It means a lot to me. Okay, moving on. Sorry.
Very good. The extra practices, can you talk about that for just a second? Because we have not seen this. In how many years, Greg?
Well, we haven't been to a bowl game since the Obama administration, Minnie.
It's been a while.
Well, do you want to read about this, Greg, or should I?
Okay. Hold on. I'm going to let you take this one.
And Londell's right.
What did
Todd? Did you know I have never seen us go to a bowl game?
Well, you're in for a new experience.
I feel like I'm Ty Robinson.
Oh.
Like I'm the dude that's out there just like sacking other dudes, just quarterbacks. I got your number.
So
I've been living for this.
I remember the last bowl game we won, which was New Year's Eve 2015. My oldest was 8 days old, and I watched it from the NICU with him in my arms on a little iPad that was about yay big. And then, we beat UCLA. And then the following year, we went up against Tennessee and lost. So, this is wild. Fred says, by the way, geez, Minnie, Greg puts money in John's pocket on Monday. John shat on him. Greg tries to be nice to us and you shit on him. It's on brand. Everybody just hates me, Fred. I don't know. Thank God Todd's here. I feel like Todd tolerates me enough to just be nice, at least to my face. Thanks, Todd.
Even Diamond Dave was watching the show with me, and he goes, "Gosh, you're not very nice to Greg."
Yeah. True.
I mean, come on. I put all the effort into the show.
Yeah, but somebody's got to drive. Like the greatest mechanics in the world can get the car ready for the Indy 500, but it takes the driver to win. Okay. True. Sorry.
Okay, so extra
Dave, blink twice if you're in danger.
I know, he probably is. For teams that fail to reach the 6-win plateau and don't qualify for a bowl game, their season immediately comes to an end after the final game of the regular season, which we have felt for many a year. But for the programs that make the postseason, they are allowed to continue practicing deep into December and get as many on-field sessions as they want, as long as they stay within the same in-season 20-hour limit per week. That sounds like a huge advantage to me.
It is. It is, because the majority of those practices, the attention will be given to younger players. And I think Coach Rule even had mentioned how, at least for the first few, the seniors were given time off. They were given a break. And, I think they've got 15 practices scheduled is what the plan is. And I would be willing to bet that 10 of those 15, it will be 100% focused on underclassmen. They'll probably will be focused on underclassmen with attention given to preparing for next year. The bowl game prep will be the last 5 practices of the period, would be my guess.
I love it.
Get opportunity.
I'm really excited.
The gifts and the Nashes and the Ty Robinsons, the proper send off that they've earned. Yeah.
Okay. So that brings us to bowl game possibilities. I, for one, really hope that it's in Phoenix, because
you are 10 minutes away.
Yeah. But others think that it could be in Nashville. 24/7 Sports says Nebraska is going to Nashville to play LSU in the Music City Bowl on December 30th. Then Athlon Sports has the Huskers against Duke in the Duke's Mayo Bowl, which I could make that.
Where is the Duke's Mayo Bowl? Look, never mind. Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yep. On January 3rd.
So my issue with the Duke's Mayo Bowl, based on what I'm seeing right here, is that somebody gets doused with a cooler of mayonnaise.
The coach.
And, no thanks. I mean, just straight up no thanks.
Yeah, I don't like mayonnaise either.
I don't dislike, first of all, I like mayonnaise.
Is the worst condiment.
I like mayonnaise, but don't try to bring me that Miracle Whip bullshit and calling it mayonnaise. All right. No. Just not happening. So.
Okay.
Sorry.
So no mayo bowl. CBS Sports puts the Huskers in New York for the Pinstripe Bowl against Boston College. Is it just me, or does that sound like a horrible bowl to go to?
You know, there are a lot of people that are saying anywhere but. I'll tell you what, New York City is fun. It's expensive. It's expensive. You're gonna max out your credit cards. But wow, to be able to spend a few nights in New York, play in Yankee Stadium, which is a weird place to play a football game.
Yeah.
I don't cold. Well, other than Phoenix, you haven't listed any place that couldn't be cold. Nashville is no, beachfront area down there. It gets damn cold in Nashville, and Charlotte can get cold as well. So I don't know. I'd love to see him in Arizona. That's where I'd prefer. But
Me too.
I don't know if they've got a chance.
If they come to Arizona, you guys are all invited. We're gonna party like it's 1999. Okay.
What, is this a Prince song? What are we doing? 1999 was the last time the Nebraska Cornhuskers
Well, she's
were
throwing
relevant
Prince out.
nationally.
You got Frank up here on Making It Anywhere. So,
Todd, can you sing that for me? You were singing some Bob Seger earlier. Could you sing a little Blue Eyes?
Start spreading the news.
Bum, bum, bum,
I'm leaving today.
Dun, 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 dun. I want to
New York,
be
New
a
York.
part of it. New York, New York.
Anything Greg can do to sing.
If I can
And
make it there,
I make it
anywhere.
anywhere.
It's up
Up
to
to
you.
you,
New
New
York,
York,
New
New
York.
York.
Oh my gosh, Greg, your head. You do the wobble. I'm sorry, I haven't seen that ever. I didn't realize.
I've never been happier with chaos created by a comment that says Josh Hansen. Thank you, Josh. Melissa says OMG, which is probably accurate. Aaron says, is this a fever dream? And Fred says, wow, this singing makes Five Heart Theater look like a Kubrick film. I don't think I was doing jazz hands. I think I was snapping.
I don't know
Even
what
the
you were doing. I hope we never see that again.
Josh Hansen says this, or Fred says, Josh, the blood is on your hands. And Josh says, is it June already? We have 1 week off and the show goes off the rails. So, all right. So here's what I can say. If it's in Nashville, I'm doing everything I can to get there because Nashville's a couple-hour drive from my driveway. So if it's New York, probably can't manage that one. And I'm looking at the list again. I'm not going to the Carolinas. No offense. I'd love to go there eventually for some barbecue, just not right now. But if Minnie's hosted a party in the greater Phoenix metropolitan area, I might have to dig out some frequent flyer miles and make that one happen.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Todd, how about you?
Well, I would like to. I do have to consult with a higher power. Her name is Tammy. Here's the deal. If we can get a happy, what do we call that? Trusted house sitter. My wife is a trusted house sitter. And so Phoenix would be a possibility because there's quite a few opportunities down there to do that. So,
I didn't know she could do
down
that.
on expenses there would be important.
I like that.
See, that's what also could get us to New York City. So, yeah.
So what it sounds like is Nebraska Cornhuskers go bowling, Todd and Tammy go bowling as well.
I'd like to. And can I Greg's met Tammy.
I have. She's tremendous.
Yeah.
Aw.
So, okay, I'll be really, really brief here. Tammy's an Iowa State grad. 3 brothers, Iowa State grads. Dad was an Iowa State grad. Pretty hardcore Iowa State. A year ago, well, actually a couple summers ago, I started pushing really, really hard because my wife loves to travel. She's been to Europe a number of times. That's her thing. Nebraska, Northwestern, Dublin, Ireland. It's the place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Why would we want to go all the way to Ireland to watch a football game? I don't want to be around all those damn Nebraska fans just for a football game.
Really?
And I said, okay, we'll stay a couple weeks later, afterwards, or go a couple weeks early, and see Ireland, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how times have changed. Any idea who happens to be playing in the Aer Lingus Bowl in Dublin, August 23rd, 2025?
It's not Nebraska, but it's Iowa State.
It would be Farmageddon.
Ooh.
Iowa State, Kansas State, Dublin, Ireland, August 23rd, 2025.
Oh.
So, Tammy,
Yes, that means you're going to Ireland.
Apparently.
She's lurking.
No, I'm serious. She's talking about going to Ireland because Iowa State's going to be. It won't be any fun because Ireland's got too much class. They're not going to import Busch Light, and Iowa State fans won't know what the hell to do if they can't
Busch
suck
Latte.
down every can of Busch Light in the country. So.
Don't say that, Josh. I'm not going to dignify that by highlighting and reading it. Because I've had the blessing to not just meet Todd and Tammy. I mean, I've met Todd twice because he was at the coronation meetup, but meet Tammy, broken bread with Tammy. Tammy, Todd, your wife is wonderful, dude.
Yeah, she's a good gal.
So.
That's so nice. Even though she loves Iowa State, it's her one flaw.
Okay, I've got a degree from Iowa State too. Many, you don't know my history. My first college football game was 1969, Clyde Williams Field, Iowa State against the University of Colorado. So I was going to Iowa State games for years. And in fact, as a young boy, I was incredibly dejected when Iowa State, for the first time in like 100 years, could have beaten Nebraska, and Tom Gidgen missed a field goal wide right, and it destroyed me. So I'm a relative latecomer. 1981 is when I drank the Kool-Aid and converted.
You're a latecomer? What does that make me?
Well, I had
38 years younger than Todd.
Another life.
You had another life
before I became a Cornhusker.
I feel like you must think that I'm some sort of like German interrogator, like holding a light up to you. Todd, tell me your deep dark secrets about Iowa.
Oh no, we're not going. The deep dark ones those will stay forever buried.
All right. We are 2 hours deep into this. And by the way, that's not a complaint. That is just admiration for all of you. I know Andy said it a couple of nights ago that, the comments, especially in the offseason, comments kind of drive the conversation. It's a little different on the 5 Heart podcast because unlike any other show on Coronation's YouTube channel, this one actually is a format. And there's only one person responsible for that format. And give her flowers. But we have an abundance of starred comments that we're going to get to. So this was right at the beginning. Aaron Keene says, remain calm, because, again, we've had a ton of transfer portal or a ton of names jumping in the transfer portal. Pitt says deep knee bends, which are not unlike my lunges from a few months ago that everybody really loved. Everybody really loved the lunges. So, Todd, you weren't here for that. I don't know if you know. I did lunges live on YouTube, Facebook an X, and they were magnanimous. Like,
I believe it.
thank
Wonderful.
you. I appreciate
Todd,
the
let me
fact
ask
that
you
you
a
believe that
question.
sight unseen. I also
me
have
ask
some
you a
oceanfront
question.
property in
No.
Arizona.
Since you are a badunk guy,
Oh shit! Oh, are we going to talk about my
lunges? Yeah, rate his badunk, not. Oh gosh,
I
how
said
about
no.
what would it take for you to do lunges
Oh God,
on the 5 heart?
a crane to yeah.
But you would try.
I might. I'd have to make sure I have painkillers after the fact. Or before.
Why do you think I drink? Why do you think I keep a case? Let me try that again. Why do you think I keep a case of Yingling nearby?
Oh, well. Yeah, Greg did it. I think it was like $2 is what he got paid for it. Actually, he didn't even get paid for it. It was John who got paid $1.99.
Yeah.
Fred says, I wouldn't say Todd missed Greg's lunges. So, all right. Let's see. We're talking about Emmett Johnson. And earlier on in his announcement to enter the transfer portal, Melissa says, I think Jamarian Parker, the freshman, might have beat him out this year. So, bold statement. I mean, we all liked Emmett Johnson. We wish.
Yeah.
And
Emmett's
I think
the one that's tearing me apart right now. He should have been the number one guy all year.
That's the one that doesn't make sense because after Dana Holgerson came along, I mean, yes, you had Dante, who was kind of like the goal line guy, but Emmett Johnson really had solidified himself as the every down back and was seeing more and more reps, was our only 100-yard rusher of the season. And I think that was only going to, grow. I think he would have been, a junior next year, right? He had 2 years of eligibility left.
I think he did. Yeah.
So,
He went to Ireland.
oh gosh, did he? So it is a red
He
shirt.
did.
So he might only have 1 year left then.
That could be.
No, he went to Ireland, but
Redshirted?
He has his own YouTube channel. And he has this wonderful video from Ireland. And he has like footage of other Husker players like Heinrich Harburg drinking, beer.
Guinness.
Uh-huh.
Vince Watson said hopes that Emmett is an NIL play, where he's just saying, all right, pay me, motherfuckers. So,
I hope he doesn't leave because isn't he Mr. Minnesota, Mr. Football? Wasn't that his name?
He was. He was. Yeah.
Yes, Melissa. Yes, I am a stalker. Have you ever watched this show before? Come on.
Aaron Keene says stalking confirmed by knowing about player YouTube channels.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Brasco Rascal said early on, Foley is still the special teams coach. Although I do expect that to change.
I expect that
the
to
offseason.
change. Something will happen there.
We talked about this twice, but Fred said saw a starting wide receiver from Kentucky enter the portal. Anyone know his knee circumference? Asking for a friend. We don't. That friend is mini. We'll figure that out as we go along in the offseason. MK said
for knees, Todd. I think knees are just as important.
Could be. Because it seems like there's a lot of them that don't have good ones that don't get to play.
Yes. Yes.
MK says Todd going to set Husker World right. And I'll tell you, Husker World's a little bit better when Todd is here with us on the 5 Hearts. So Fred says, Greg, not a good actor? No fucking way. Yeah. I'm not a great actor. All right. I sell insurance. I do podcasting. I did radio. Nothing in my resume says that I'm going to win an Oscar. Okay, Fred? So fuck you. Just kidding.
Okay. How about this?
No.
Do you think you're a singer?
That's hurtful.
Mr. Wobblehead.
You know what? That one hurts. That one hurts my 5 heart.
Okay, sorry.
Talk about the Iowa game. Melissa's not wrong. Says Huskers beat themselves. Which you look at outside of the Indiana game, the other 5 losses were situations where I think Nebraska beat themselves. So, at times Nebraska was our worst enemy. And Carl doubles down and says, Todd, the big play didn't sink us. We can't put the ball on the ground 3 times, lose the turnover battle, and expect to beat anyone in D1.
True.
And again, we've started these comments from the beginning of the show, so if they're out of sequence, we apologize. But Aaron Keene says, after much thought and consideration, my Husker emotions have decided to enter the portal. It is best this time of year to emotionally disassociate yourself. Go along for the ride. Smile like you're a chocolate lab, or there's a Far Side comic. Far Side was great. Fantastic comic strip. Gary Larson. And it was the many moods. I remember this clearly. The many moods of an Irish setter. And whether it was happy, sad, hungry, angry, dopey, doc, whatever, it was the same, Irish setter look. Be an Irish setter. Just go along for the
Irish
ride.
setters. Yeah.
Let's see. Aaron Keene says, sheesh, first White Claw Mini is speaking in tongues. This was 9:25. This was an hour and a half ago. Mini, how many White Claws are you now?
I was gonna address that way back then, but you keep talking. So I forgot what I was gonna say.
Minnie, I don't know if you know this or not, but I spent 10 plus years in terrestrial radio, where you are penalized for dead air. So okay. I am conditioned to just make sure that there's no dead air. Now, that doesn't mean I won't throw the occasional smolder, like when Linda's around. But
Poor Linda.
God bless, she puts up with my shit when she's here. But no, I'm conditioned to just make sure that there's a constant stream of noise all the time.
And it's noisy.
Thank you. So what do you want to talk about your White Claws?
What? I forgot.
Well, the comment is still
That's
there.
How long ago it was. No,
first
it
White
doesn't
Claw
need to
Mini
be.
is speaking in tongues.
Oh, I know what it was. It was something about... no, I can't remember. I can't. It's like there, but it's not.
Cool.
Sorry.
BFOTS Josh Hansen says, you keep saying terrestrial radio like we know ETs have radios. I'm just saying, like, I worked in actual, you need a radio to listen, not just the internet. So that's when I say terrestrial. Josh, also shut the fuck up, Josh. I'm getting salty tonight. I apologize to everybody. You know I love you. Let's see. Tiger Shark Diver. I think Minnie, you started this one. Who is our biggest donor now? Todd, any guesses on that one?
I'm curious.
I don't know. I suppose some people would say Pete, but I'm not sure. It seems like there's some deep pockets still in Texas and some of those places. I don't know.
What do we know about Warren Buffett?
No.
He's not.
Really?
You don't think he gives a shit?
He contributes to the university, but he doesn't contribute to the athletic program.
Wow.
That doesn't surprise me, honestly.
No.
Pitt says cue it.
They did.
Okay.
I don't know if they, to what extent they still do.
Fred says that John has deep pockets but short arms. I think we all sometimes get the T-Rex arms that can't quite reach. And yeah, Pitt says that Buffett gives to the business school or gives the business school money. And Fred says that Warren doesn't give 2 fucks about the football program. So again, I'm not disagreeing with any of those sentiments. So, all right, let's see. TSD says if you play D1 football, you have been really good your whole life and need to have drive to improve.
I agree.
Although I do wonder if there's not that percentage of D1 players who, have been the best kid in their town, the best kid in their district, maybe even the, whatever, one of the best kids in their state. And then they get to the next level and they're not the best kid. And how much, maybe that busts down their motivation a little bit,
Let me throw a conundrum at you.
I'm ready for your conundrum, sir.
So, this kind of follows up to what we were talking about a little bit earlier about it. Okay. I'll tell you a player who had it, and he maybe had more it than any other college football player in the last 20 years.
Ooh.
Johnny Manziel.
Oh, yeah.
Now, he does not fit.
He lives here in Phoenix.
Okay. He doesn't fit the definition of the guy who puts in the extra time. He doesn't fit the definition of the guy that stays after practice. He doesn't fit the definition of the guy that spends extra hours watching game film. He doesn't fit any of those definitions. But it's really kind of hard to argue that he didn't have it. There was no college football player during that period of time that could compare to Johnny Manziel.
Mm-hmm.
So what's it? Now, he ran out of it when he went to the Browns.
Yeah.
Part of that is that when you party all night in Vegas and then try to play a football game the next day, ain't going to happen. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
I watched a documentary on him.
Yeah, very fascinating. I mean,
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Josh Anson, how would you know? Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Isn't that a song?
Hold on. Max
I think it is.
Verstappen?
Formula One driver.
That's right. The Dutch-Belgian driver. Yep. That is what Gregel told me. Thanks, Kaylee. Let's see. This one's out of context, so I apologize, Londell. That's why we'll all be drinking the Kool-Aid as soon as we get guys from the portal. Probably because we're a little mopey because we've lost some good ones, especially, today hearing about Emmett Johnson. Guys are coming in. Matt Rule's talking about bringing in 20 guys or so, 10 on each side of the football. So, yeah, we just hope that it's an upgrade. I mean, at the end of the day, we just want to take that next step, get to that next level. We talked about 2024 bingo cards. I did not star this comment, and I'm pretty sure there's only one other person who can star comments. Charles Hula says Hawk Tua wasn't on my bingo card, but there she is.
Yeah, because we were talking about bingo cards.
Yeah, because a lot of things that have happened in 2024 were not on my bingo card, whether it's Husker football, personal, whatever. I just didn't have them on my bingo. My 2024 bingo card is very blank and boring, and all the shit's all on the periphery. So I didn't have Hawk Tua on my bingo card either. You're right. Sorry, man.
Okay, good.
Continue.
No, it's okay.
Did I stole your thunder and I feel bad.
There's no thunder. That was it. Because I know you'll read the comment eventually if I star it. That's how this game works. Poor Todd. Todd's like, are we done yet?
Todd's gonna crash here. Todd's old.
The good news, Todd,
has to go to bed.
Is that we only have 12 more starred comments to get to.
No, there aren't. There aren't 12. We're actually just about done.
Yeah, because there are 12 more. Melissa says that Butter is acting defensive coordinator. If that's Butters from South Park, we're in trouble. If that's John Butler, I think we'll be okay. Who started this one? Pierce Rose says Nebraska should retire from football. That's
okay. I did, because Pierce Rose showed up with a disgruntled attitude, and he needed to be called out.
Pierce Rose is a troll who is not a Nebraska fan, and you can tell because they have a picture of the Rose Bowl logo as their thing, and no Nebraska fan
true.
honestly cares about the Rose Bowl.
He knows in the ins and outs of Nebraska. He was commenting about players, and he knows. He's a fan. He's just disgruntled. He's hurt.
He's hurt.
He's hurt, and so it's
so
our
when we
job
sit
to help
when we
him.
sit Pierce down and say, Pierce, who hurt you? And he'll be like, Nebraska.
It's Nebraska.
Football.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
How many of us would be that? Yeah, I'd raise my hand.
I don't buy it for this purely for the sake that no Nebraska fan gives a shit about the Rose Bowl, because it's not a game that we historically were ever tied to. It's been a Pac-10, Pac-12, Big Ten game. That's where the teams came from that fed the Rose Bowl. So Nebraska has never, correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, and I'll defer to you, Nebraska's never played in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, well, for a championship?
Not for a championship.
Okay.
No,
Well,
they were in the Rose Bowl against Miami, I think.
Okay.
2002.
Are you serious? You're doing
January
this right
3rd. January 3rd, 2002 was the 88th Rose Bowl.
You guys, I'm so sorry.
What? We got to get who dropped. Did you go into the starred comments, Minnie, and drop half a dozen comments? Aaron Keene says Minnie's been a fan for 2 weeks. No, Minnie's been a fan since Dylan Raiola committed.
No. Aaron Keene, you have been here with me for more than 2 weeks. All right. So you might need to check your dates.
Let's see. Serious comment.
Guess what? My 1 year anniversary is coming up next week.
That's right. That means that Greg has a lot of work to do in the production
Todd,
element.
How long were you involved? Have you been involved with Coronation? I'm just curious.
Probably 5.
Oh.
At least 5. At least 5.
At least 5. At least 5.
Yeah, at least 5.
What about you, Greg?
Actually, hold on. I can tell you that answer.
Are you Greggling it?
No, I don't have to Greggle it. I do have to put my flash drive back in.
Look at what Miss Kaylee says.
Agree there.
Amen, sister. Love her. She makes so much sense. Maybe she should come on. She's like she makes sense. Just like
the first ever Coronation detasseling the Huskers, which was a mailbag show that Brian Toll and I did weekly, again, all pre-recorded, not live, obviously, was, and I don't know why it was just oddly timed, but it was December 4th, 2012. So I've been with Coronation for over, well, as of yesterday, 12 years.
Well, here's the thing. You had no idea how much you needed me. I mean, come on. I've helped.
I should have stopped reading this before. I should have read the whole thing before I clicked it. Fred says, Greg, whip up a special package for the 1 year anniversary. No help from Blue Chew. Things are in the works. It's not going to be the highest quality that Minnie would do, but Minnie's not going to do it. Minnie's not going to do the video package for her own anniversary. That just seems silly.
Please don't do it. Let me do it. Let me. We started. Come on.
All right. Let's see. Fred says, serious comment. Holgerson had a second request, 5-Heart Theater all off season. That will make Minnie and her collection of fake beards very happy. Let's see. What's this newest one? Have another drink, Minnie, is what Pitt just said. Do you have any more White Claws over there?
No.
Oh, see,
I haven't even finished this one. Literally, it's still. Guys.
You need to get yourself this handy travel bag, complete with. Look at this, a can-shaped.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh,
yeah, it's a little ice pack.
Look at Matt Bryan just. Oh, thank you. Can I get a happy birthday shout out? I just turned 40 this Tuesday, the 3rd. 40. It's all downhill from there, right, Todd?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all downhill.
Don't ask Todd that. What are you? How dare you say that about Todd? Don't let the beer. Todd is 43 years old. How dare you?
I like Todd so much.
It's funny because we lie the other way for Todd, but like John's like 140. So, all right. Aaron Keene said at 9:35, Greg was a 2-star host when he started 5 Hearts, but look at him now, a solid 2.5 stars. JK, Greg, don't ban me like Hanson. I didn't ban Josh. I put him in timeout. I didn't know what I was doing, and he came back. It's fine. Stop overreacting.
Okay.
All right. And last but not least, this is the last star comment, and this is the one I was saving for the very last. This is something that all of us guys need to do because there's a chance that, hey, look, gentlemen, if you're living, breathing, and walking the earth today, there's a good chance that somebody cares about you. Somebody loves you. All right. And Orson wants you all to know. Make sure you get that prostate checked. Do the early screenings. Look, it is so simple now. You don't have that ortho. You can do it's with a blood test. All right. You can check your PSL levels. And no, that's unrelated. Don't do that. This is a serious thing, all right? Too many men don't get the proper screens that they know. And prostate cancer can kill. So please get checked.
Right.
I would hate to lose any of the Holger maniacs.
Yeah.
To something.
I appreciate that. Well, this is related. This is related. Okay?
Stop it. I said PSL. You're right, Husker Bob. It's PSA. I apologize. I also, this public service announcement. This is the only screen that we as Husker fans should want to see is the prostate check. Why? Because we care. Hey, look, we care about the mammograms too, okay?
No, we're not going to talk about that. No, the girls and I will have a conversation by ourselves. Okay, just stop.
Look,
jeez.
Treat your body like the vehicle that it is. It gets you from A to B. Preventative maintenance is all that's required.
We are going to let Todd go because bless his heart, it's way past his bedtime.
Yeah, I think I will. So it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it very much.
Thank you so much, Todd, for being here.
I enjoyed you, sir. Thank you, brother.
Yep, and it's great to see so many people whose names I recognize and I still get shit from. So,
Todd, next time you just tell me when you want to leave, just like give me a wink, and I'll take care of you.
I'll have to hold up a sign. I'm done. With a fork in me.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you all take care, and you know it is the season, so I wish my best to everyone. So
look at that, you get all the love. Yeah. Merry Christmas, Todd.
Well, please release me, Greg. I don't know how to get out of here.
You got it. Right. I got you.
Okay, Minnie's got you. You know what? I think it's important to know. It's important. Sorry.
He just wanted to leave. Can we let other people leave too?
All right. That'll, I think, do it. Don't you think, for this episode? Minnie, is there anything else? Oh,
I think we're good.
Volleyball. Holy crap, we almost forgot to mention the volleyball.
Don't
Florida
forget to watch the girls tomorrow night.
Husker volleyball, they're playing at home?
Yeah. Tomorrow, 8 p.m.
8 o'clock
Absolutely.
Central, God's favorite time zone,
Mhm.
right? Yes. All right.
Okay.
Well, we have done it. We have gotten all the way through the list. And
Good night,
thank you.
Greg.
That's not how we end the show. This is not Monday. Thanks to all of you Holger maniacs for being here on YouTube, Facebook, and X. It's great. We appreciate you tremendously. Thank you, Minnie, for all of the work that you do behind the scenes to make the show the awesome enjoyment that it is. Thank you. And with that, Greg Mahochko, Minnie Hunt, the 5 Heart Podcast, reminding you each and every week that 5 Heart is all the heart you need. Minnie?
Go big red.
Next week, we're talking about whatever the hell bowl game we're going to.